I start yelling like, why are you letting them do this to me, Mom? I was 10 years old and I was wide awake when this happened, and I'm going to explain to you why I was awake when I had surgery on my neck. But without further ado, let's get into it. My family and I lived in Chicago. We ended up moving to North Carolina, and we don't have any family in North Carolina whatsoever. So we had to find a place for us to stay for a while because we were still searching for our quote-unquote permanent place for a little bit of time, at least a few years. We couldn't find really a place. We were sleeping in hotels, and my dad went to the grocery store and saw a little flyer on the bulletin board, and it had an ad for a room that was for rent, and they were trying to rent out that extra room they had. So the only people that lived in this apartment was the guy and his wife. The couple honestly was never really there most of the time. Let's get to that part where we were watching America's Best Dance Crew. If you guys watched America's Best Dance Crew, please let me know in the comments, because that was my show. And there was this trick that one of the members did. I believe it was the Jabberwockies. I think that was their name of the crew. But they did a little trick where they spin on their head. So they put their head on the floor and they just start spinning. I'm pretty sure they used their hands to like spin themselves around. But you know, little Goya didn't know that. You know, she just thought you put your little head on the floor and you're automatically gonna spin somehow, which I don't know how that didn't cross my mind. But you know, 10-year-old Goya was just kind of like, ooh, this looks fun. Okay, this looks fun. I was so amazed. I was like, wow, that is amazing. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I need to try that. Okay, I need to try that. I'm gonna be a Jabberwocky. I'm gonna be a dancer. I don't care what nobody says. I'm gonna be a dancer. The show is over and I go into the spare bedroom and I decide, hey, I want to be a Jabberwocky and I can do this. Like, I can spin my head the way that guy did on the floor. But guess what? I was stupid and I was wrong. That is stupid. Why would I do that? I don't know. I could go back in time and smack myself in the face. I would. I'm ready. My mind is set. It's time. It's time to be a Jabberwocky. I put my head onto the floor and I start trying to spin, okay? Except I didn't use my hands. I didn't use nothing. I just put my head bare on the freaking floor and assume I'm gonna spin somehow. And next thing you know, my head just bends. It just makes a noise and it bent. And it was like sideways on the floor and you just heard a big loud noise, and I just fall onto the side of my neck, and I just like get up like nothing, and I'm like, what the heck was that? Like I'm fine, right? This is okay. This is okay. I just brush it off because, you know, 10-year-old Goya is chilling, you know. A few days go by and then my neck, it just starts hurting really bad. I can't really turn it. Go to my mom, and I don't know, but if you have a Hispanic mother, you know that our Latina mamas, they like to massage like any pain that the children have, you know. Like try to massage out the stuff that's wrong with you somehow. And so I'm like, mama, my neck is hurting. I need you to help me. And she's just like, honey, I got you. Like, let me come here, let me rub it out, you know. It felt better for like a little bit, but as the week and days, it just progressed. Like, it got worse. The side of my neck on the right side, it started swelling up. Like, it started getting like really big, and it was like a lot of pain. And okay, if y'all want to click out right now, you can, if it's too graphic for you. But like there was fluid in there, you know, like just some fluid built up from me bending my neck in a weird way. And so my mom was like, you know what, time to take you to the doctor, because this is not it, chief. No massage is gonna fix whatever the heck you did, okay? And I didn't have the guts to tell her, mama, I hurt myself when I I bent my neck, you know, like trying to be a Jabberwocky. Like, I didn't have the heart to do that. We go to the doctor. Doctor is like, okay, how this happened? And so I explained it to the doctor, like, I tried to dance and I tried to do a little trick that the guy was doing on TV and I bent my neck. And he was like, oh, okay. So then my mom, she's like, no. That's not what happened. She's allergic to cats. I am not allergic to cats. I have 2 cats. I think my mom was just, she was just trying to blame it on the dang cat. And I'm like, leave the kitty cats alone, mother. No. I was stupid and I did this to myself, okay? I'm not allergic to cats. They did some checks on me and they just gave me some medicine and they sent me right home. Eventually, the pain medication just didn't really cut it out for me, you know? Like, I was in so much pain that I just couldn't do it no more, you know? My mom and dad decided to take me back to the doctor for another opinion because they said the swelling would go away after I took the pill, but it didn't go away. Went back to the doctor and then the doctor did some more tests on me. He sat me down and sat down my parents and said, well, it looks like your daughter's gonna have to have some surgery. And I immediately bursted out crying. I'm like, no, please. Like, 10-year-old Goya does not want surgery. My mom decided, okay, well, all right, we have to do it, right? First, they had to prep me at the hospital I was currently seeing the doctor at. But later, he was like, we can't do this anymore. We can't do this here. We don't have the special tools because you're 10 years old. I guess I had to be at a children's hospital. They told my mom and dad that they had to take me in a helicopter, transport me to the children's hospital so I can have surgery on my neck. My mom and dad couldn't ride in the helicopter with me. This is just a terrible situation. But when I look back on it, I'm just like, wow, I was a real trooper right there. My parents were going to drive there themselves, which was like probably 4 to 5 hours away from the current hospital, and I would be going in the helicopter with the paramedics. As they're pulling me into the helicopter, I was very talkative as a 10-year-old, okay? As we were going to go into the helicopter, I'm just like asking all these questions like,
are we all gonna fit in there? Do I need something to cover my ears? Because is it gonna hurt my ears? Is it loud?
They all just kind of laugh. I'm laying in the little bed. I could see through the window of the helicopter. Everything looks so small and so tiny, like little ants. We're little tiny little people in this big world. We get to the hospital and there was this man. He was on the helicopter with me. He was super duper nice. He was like, if your mom and dad aren't here yet, then I'm not gonna leave until they get here. And usually when you get transported to the hospital, they just leave you there to be taken care of by the doctors and they go on with their day. And I thought that was very interesting. That was super duper nice of the guy to stick around and wait for my parents to get there. That nice guy, I'm just gonna call him nice guy, okay? That nice guy, he asked me a question when he pulled me off of the helicopter. Oh, do you want a pin? I guess I didn't hear him correctly, but I thought he said pen, like P-E-N, pen, something you write with. And I'm like, yeah, I want a freaking pen. He's like, okay. So he gives me a pin, P-I-N. So it's a little pin of a helicopter and you can put it on your shirt or your book bag or wherever. And I actually have a picture and I'm gonna insert it right here. There it is. Isn't it cute? It's so freaking adorable. I just love it. But I still have it to this day. This nice guy ended up staying there. Finally, my mom and dad did show up and they were surprised. This guy that took you on the helicopter is still here? And I'm like, yeah, this is my friend. This is my friend. Nice guy. He's my friend now. He's like, well, I'll see you later then. And I'm just like, okay. It was the day of the surgery and I had not eaten any food because you can't eat before surgery. So I was starving. I was starving. All I wanted was food. And my dad was like, okay, when you get out of the hospital, where do you want to go? Like, I'm gonna take you somewhere. And I'm like, the Chinese buffet. That's all I want. It's a Chinese buffet. My dad just laughed. He's like, of course, this is Goya. Goya just loves food. So it's the day of the surgery and the nurse comes in. Now, before the surgery thingy, let me tell you something. Why was I awake? Why was I awake during surgery? When I was a little baby, my lungs, one of them was growing growing at a different rate than the other one. So I had to be born early. And so when I would fall asleep, sometimes I couldn't breathe. They were supposed to put a little hole on my neck so I could breathe if they did put me to sleep. But my mom didn't want me to get a little hole on my neck so I could breathe. So they had to do the surgery while I was awake. Done. The nurse comes in and she is like, all right, it's time to start the surgery. And you know Goya has a lot of questions. So I start my questioning. I asked, okay, so
How badly is this gonna hurt?
and she replied with, oh, just a little bit. You won't even feel a pinch. Just a little bit. And then I looked to my mom and I'm like, Mama, it's only gonna hurt a little bit. Don't worry. Stop crying. She knows it's not gonna be a little bit because I'm gonna be awake. 20 nurses come into the room and a translator because my mom doesn't really understand English. So there was a translator. They slowly approach the bed like a little circle around me at the foot of the bed and then some to the side of me. The translator, he starts like telling my mom what's gonna happen in Spanish. And you know, I'm bilingual, so I'm listening too. I'm like, hold on, what? He tells my mom, we're going to have to hold down your daughter. That's why all of these nurses are here. And we're going to hold her down so she doesn't move because we're going to be doing the surgery while she's awake. Since you didn't want us to put her to sleep so we can put like a hole in her neck, in her throat, okay? Put a hole in her throat. So we're gonna have to do it awake. And my mom's like, okay, that's fine. And I'm just looking at her like, well, what the heck did he just say? I didn't agree to this. The surgeon comes in with his little cart. He has like a little cart and his little tools in it. He tells all the nurses to grab me. So they all just grab like my legs. Multiple hands were on my legs to hold me down and my arms, and some were by my torso area, and they were all just holding me down. And I'm just like, what's happening, Mom? Like, what's happening? And she's like, she just starts crying because so confused. All of a sudden, the surgeon takes out his, oh my God. Okay, I saw the little scalpel. The scalpel. And it's so tiny. It's so tiny. And at first, I'm like, I don't think it'll be too bad because it's so tiny. I was wrong. I was so wrong. He just starts, you know, cutting into the side where my holy neck is, right? I start bawling my eyes out because it's a lot of pain. I start yelling like, I'm like, why are you letting them do this to me, Mom? I said it in Spanish so she could understand me. and my mom just starts crying. Bless her heart. The translator is telling the nurses what I'm saying because they don't speak Spanish, and one of them's like, what is she saying? And you know, he just translates to them too. And well, you know, I think it lasted maybe about 10 minutes and it was over. It hurt a lot. It almost, I don't know how to describe it. I've never been bit by a crocodile. Felt like something was biting my neck, if that makes sense. Something like was just grabbing onto my neck and like biting it, and like excruciating pain. After that, everything was okay. I stayed in the hospital for a few days. They gave me a cute little menu with all the foods that I could eat, and it was so freaking amazing. It's like I wanted to stay there after the surgery. Now, I want to share a part of this story where I think is very interesting. After the surgery, you know, my mom is super religious. She started praying for me, and you just hear this little whisper, like, pss, 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 pss. And I was like, Mom, you say something? She said, Goya, did you say something? And I was like, no, I didn't. And she said, no, she didn't say nothing either. But to this day, I don't know what it is. After the surgery, remember Mr. Nice Guy, the paramedic that flew me to the hospital? He came back. He came back after a week. And I was so surprised because I didn't think he'd come back to visit me. What was so special about me that you came to visit me, you know? But no, he came back to visit me, and he was just making sure I was okay and see how the surgery went. After I got discharged from the hospital, I went to church and the buffet. 10-year-old Goya, she liked to to mess around the pews at church. I would like crawl underneath the pews. This particular time, I found a toy shark and I took it home because I'm like, it's mine now. Like, it's mine. But I took it to the Chinese buffet, first of all, because that's where I went to. I went to the Chinese buffet. I just walked around with a patch on my neck from the surgery and everyone stared at me. But guess what? Goya didn't care. 10-year-old Goya didn't care. She was there for the food and that's what I got. 10-year-old Goya was kind of dumb for doing the Jabberwocky thing. But in the end, she was a trooper. In the end, I was a trooper. But if you guys enjoyed that video, please let me know in the comments down below. And I look forward to talking to you guys more and making some more stories about my life. And let me know which part was the most interesting to you. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys. Subscribe or I'll throw a shoe at you.